I almost killed someone. Like straight up, no clickbait. But it's probably not what you think. Let me explain. Like my last story, I was in a middle school locker room getting changed out for PE. But you know, this time, I was actually in the guys' locker room. So we're already off on a better start. If you don't get what I'm talking about, watch my last video. Anyways, I remember at the start of the PE year, I was super self-conscious about changing in front of others. Would always go changing the styles instead. People probably thought I was weird, but tell me what's more weird, changing by yourself or just being confident enough to get naked in front of a bunch of guys with no previous experience? I'm not the weird one, you're the weird one. Not to mention, I just moved there, so these were a bunch of strangers. Like changing in front of others, playing sports was also pretty foreign to me. For example, one time we were playing flag football, and someone passed me the ball. And what do you know? I actually caught it. Not only that, but no one was chasing me. Could this be it? Could this be the first time I score a point for my team? Would this be how I prove myself? I could see it now. Them chanting my name. Cacti, cacti, cacti. And with that, I scored. And I turned around and realized I had scored on the wrong side of the field. Everyone just kind of stood there in confusion looking at me. I mean, at least the other team got a point. I got a bunch of stories like this, so let me just go through them rapidly. One time we were playing basketball, and while the people were checking the ball, I just ran up, swiped out their hands, and scored. I think they thought I just did it to be funny, because they just got annoyed at me. Another time, while we were doing our stretches, I farted, and everyone looked at me. It would have probably been fine if I was the class clown, but I was the awkward shy kid, so it just made me seem more weird. Another time we were playing wall ball, and I ended up hitting a kid at all and making them cry. That one isn't even really embarrassing to me, I just feel bad about it. And there's probably a bunch of other incidents like this, but thankfully the trauma's blocking me from remembering. But then, there was the incident. The time my stupidity sent some kid to the hospital and could have easily messed them up permanently, or you know, made their soul despawn. First off, I am definitely not the person I once was, and thankfully I had good friends in high school that really helped me find myself. And now, I can make YouTube videos on it, so you know, things worked out in the end. It just rained the day before, which let me tell you in Arizona was a miracle. We were on a basketball court outside picking teams. I think they always believed in picking the best for last or something, because somehow I was always the last one picked. If I were to guess, it would be because I was so good, I just removed all the fun from the others, because it wasn't even a competition. But any guess is as good as mine. I was scarring this kid named Wyatt. That's how you know we live in the South, when you got cowboy names like Wyatt. Yeehaw! But after the incident, Wyatt never yeed, nor hawed again. He had the ball, and I was trying to get it from him, when I guess one of my legs went under his, and I ended up tripping him. He was holding onto the ball and didn't have enough time to put out his hands. Bam. He laid there, at first not moving, but then came the tears, then the trickle of blood from his head. Everyone stood around watching before the class captain carried him off to the nurse's office. No one said anything to me about it, but I know what I did. A week later, news came around that he was coming back to school, and some kids started a rumor that he was mad at me, and I got scared. Was he gonna try and get revenge? Were his parents gonna sue me for the hospital expenses? But most of all, I genuinely just felt terrible about hurting him, and I really hoped that he was gonna be okay. He was bleeding a lot, and I didn't know how extensive the injuries were. When he came back, he had a total of 12 stitches all across his head, and was actually pretty chill about the whole thing, thankfully. I was so happy to see he was fine and back in school, and now years later, this is something I could joke about. So shout out Wyatt. I don't remember if that was actually his name now I'm thinking about it, but he looked like a Wyatt. Moral of the story: calling on my cell phone.